It is Thursday, June 20th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by our good friends over at Factor. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Dan along for the ride as well. It's good to be together again as we are here for Floorball 3, the third of four warehouse franchise tournaments this year.
I keep looking for the screen. Like, where's my buddy Chris Rose? You're right here.
Right here.
And not only are you right here, I actually saw you shirtless already today. It's a big day for me.
Yeah, well, I had to change into my gamer, and so that does happen.
Is that what happened?
That's what it is.
Okay, we'll just say that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. We're off and running. We already have a couple of games in the book. 2 more still to come after lunch. I know your team is very different. We don't have to talk a ton about it, but it's this should be fun for you.
I'm excited. It's my least I don't know how to play floorball.
Right.
So I feel the least confident in my skills here, but I'll dig deep because that's what I do.
Yeah, that is what you do. We got a lot to cover over the next 25 to 30 minutes. We got to get going. So let's speed it up a little bit. Obviously, we haven't had a show since Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93 on Tuesday. And the timing is, it's virtually uncanny because the Giants and the Cardinals had this game scheduled at Rickwood Field, like the oldest ballpark that we have played games in this country. And they were going to honor him, and now they're going to honor him tonight on Fox in an entirely different way. And obviously the feeling around there is going to be significantly different. Whenever somebody passes, I don't care how the last 48 hours, I think, has been extremely comforting for us as baseball fans.
Yeah, and I think for all the guys there at the field, a lot of the guys found out, so they had almost like a support system as they're at Rickwood Field. I think they were doing a minor league game there. At least that's what CC said. A lot of them were together, so they're able to process it together. And then you're right, I think it's going to be more of a celebration than anything because obviously what he means to the sport, and then he played at this field. Like, the whole thing it's kind of surreal, Chris.
It is. And listen, you have to be basically in your early to mid-60s to have seen Willie Mays be Willie Mays. More like your mid-60s to have seen him roaming center field, running the bases, arguably better than anybody in the history of the sport. I miss my father every day. It's one of those times I remember telling Michelle on Tuesday when Willie Mays passed that I really miss him today because my dad saw his entire career. I mean, they were roughly the same age. And I would have loved to have picked his brain about what it was like to watch Willie Mays play in person because it just sounded like such a different... There's nobody in today's game, and to no fault of the modern player, that could compare, it sounds like, to him.
No, I don't think so at all. And I talk about this quite frequently on the show. My dad would always mention to me, it was 2 players. Number 1, his guy was Roberto Clemente. And then number 2, right after Roberto, he'd talk about Willie Mays. He was a young kid when watching him play, but he always remembered him and said, there's nobody like this guy.
I had the good fortune of meeting Willie Mays twice. He came on the Best Damn Sports Show, period, one time out in Los Angeles, and actually brought with him signed Willie Mays jerseys.
Sheesh. So
he brought the jerseys, and then he signed it for each one of them, and I actually have it framed in my house. And, it's amazing. I stare at that thing in my office when I'm doing the show with you together. I was like, oh, my God, I've got a signed Willie Mays jersey. Like, it's incredible. And then the second time was when the All-Star game was here in New York. I believe it was 2008. And we did the parade, back then, the red carpet parade. And they brought Willie out, and he's in the car. He starts throwing $20 bills to people.
Oh, my goodness.
He's just like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh, man. Like, you weren't great before this, now you're throwing money. I was like, a little over here, Willie.
I'm going to steal that move. Maybe not 20s. Maybe like some 5s or something.
Yeah, really. Maybe a $2 bill here or there. I'm excited to watch tonight. I want to see how they honor him. I'm sure Fox will do an amazing job with it. I want to see how Major League Baseball is doing. It's just one of those times where we're sad somebody passed away, a legend of the sport, but I think it's just an amazing time. This game was going to be incredible on its own.
Yes.
Right? Because I think not only the history there, but, we had the Negro League statistics now brought into the game, and that just gets people asking questions, some really positive, some negative as to why we had separate leagues and things of that nature. It's all important to discuss today.
I believe an invite went out to every single living Negro League player, and 60 of them are going to be at that game.
That's going to be awesome.
It is awesome.
7 o'clock Eastern, I think that gets going tonight on your local Fox affiliate.
Before we move on, you ask guys that play Major League Baseball, what their favorite fields are. It's usually Boston. It's usually Wrigley.
Yep.
It's where the history happens. When those guys walk into that field today, the amount of history that's happened there, I mean, I get chills just thinking about it. Like, thinking about the players that have come through there, everything that's gone on. Like, it is, it's one of the more, historic fields that we have in all of the U.S.
The first ever AL-NL game that will ever be played at Rickwood Field between teams, and 181 Hall of Famers have played at that field at some point in their career. It's unreal. Once again, today's show is presented to you by Factor. Meet your wellness goals in time for the summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals, options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto. Here's the thing I love about them. They're easy. So I just got my box delivered at the beginning of the week. What did I do at lunchtime? I was like, what am I going to do for lunch? Open the fridge. There it was. Poked a couple of holes in there. 2 minutes, 2 seconds on the microwave. I'm off and running. 35 different meals, more than 60 add-ons to choose from each and every week. They've got new flavors to explore. So all the way from you first wake up at breakfast, or if you need a lunch, or if you need a snack, or if you need dinner, or if you like dessert, Factor has got you covered. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals. They feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon, so much more. So head on over to factormeals.com/baseball50. Use that code. You're going to get half off your first box, plus 20% off your next month. Once again, the code is baseball50, factormeals.com. Use that while your subscription is active.
Great juices, too. Just saying.
Yes.
Like the juices.
I love those. I think we got some mango ones that showed up this week. So I'll be trying those out. And don't forget about our Factor question of the week. Get it in by tonight so we can make somebody really famous on Friday's show. All right, Wednesday marked the season debut of the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner in Garrett Cole. He worked into the fifth against the Orioles. He gave up 2 earned, struck out 5, 62 pitches, no decision, in part because the Yanks tied it up late to force extras. Orioles won in the extra frame. The question here, first and foremost, is now that Cole is back and Baltimore's rotation is a little banged up, obviously, is this New York's division to definitely lose?
I think definitively yes. Okay, you went out and got Juan Soto for this season. You started the year 51-25 without Garrett Cole. I guess 51-24 without Garrett Cole. He's back in the rotation. You have Juan Soto. You can tell when you're at the stadium this year, it feels a little different out there. Without a question, it is their division to lose. And I know how good Baltimore is, but I'm telling you right now, they have to win this division.
Okay, so I am going to say for now, but not 100% yet, because Baltimore has the firepower to change their team more so than any of the 30 teams out there, right? I mean, they keep bringing guys up, and you're like, Jesus, what are they doing down there on the farm? And they keep growing and growing, and they're high-end guys. They're guys that were drafted in the top 3 rounds, and they're all seemingly producing. So what I would say is that, yes, I like the Yankees better at this point, but you really have to check back with me in 6 weeks, not based on how everybody's playing, but based on what Baltimore's team is going to look like.
I'm not saying Baltimore can't do it, and I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, they should be in the market for everything that they feel is a hole on their roster. But for the Yankees to get out to this type of start, like I said, acquire Soto, for them to lose the division now after being where they're, and I know they're only a game and a half up.
Right.
They could be a half game up after tonight. I still think if they lost this division, it would already feel like a failed season. It would.
Really?
I think so.
With Baltimore, we know they just lost Bradish, right? Tyler Wells is done for the year. Is it Colomb? Is that his name?
Danny Colomb's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back in like September.
Yeah.
And he's been arguably their most reliable reliever.
Yeah.
They've got some holes to fill here. And once again, I don't expect Mike Elias to just sit on his hands. I think he's really trying to figure out which young guys he can live without. And that's probably... It's easy for us to say. I think it's terrifying for him because those guys are all so talented.
Don't care. Who cares? What is it about? Is this about winning in the big leagues, or is this about, having a great AAA roster because you need them for some depth? No, you need them to go win at the major league level. And to put them over the top, to be a true, I mean, they're already a World Series contender, but to be like 1A, 1B with everybody else, they got to go make a move.
In addition to the pitching injuries, do you think that he's 100% in on Craig Kimbrell? Blew it a save again last night.
I think you can have faith in someone as your closer and still want to fortify your bullpen.
That's not it.
Well, I think you just got my answer.
Okay.
Okay.
There was one other interesting part. You know, we didn't have the show yesterday. We would have talked about Aaron Judge getting it high and tight and then not being in the lineup on Wednesday. Thankfully, no fracture. He didn't go down the Mookie Betts road. There was a lot of talk afterward. In fact, didn't Nestor Cortez come in on Gunnar Henderson on
that game?
on Tuesday night,
yes.
And then last night, who was it? Gonzalez that got him. Brandon Hyde was asked about it, whether or not it was intentional. His answer was, "Good question." Do you think that this is all good for that rivalry and for Major League Baseball? Because I know where your head's at when guys get thrown at their dome.
As a player, I don't love it. I don't love the retaliation of it. I understand it's part of the game. I understand Judge is the captain. I understand wanting to protect your guys. If you're getting constantly buzzed inside, you got to kind of do something, and this is the correct way to do it. The pitch is a little bit high. The thing I thought was interesting was after the game, the Judge got hit. I think even Judge said it wasn't intentional. You know, that's where they like to pitch me. They like to pitch me up and in. So I get why the Yankees retaliated, because that clearly was intentional. Come on. Like Gunnar Henderson... it was intentional. As a fan, so I don't like it necessarily as a player, but as a fan, and as like thinking, is it good for the sport and the rivalry and everything? Of course it is. Of course it is, man. Like this is not going to end tonight. It's going to continue on through the season. Like there's just a lot to like if you're a fan about teams hating each other. I love watching sports when teams legitimately hate each other. I love it.
Yeah, and this is getting to a boiling point.
It's getting there. I don't know if it's there yet where they
No.
hate each other, but like put these teams in some playoff atmosphere types late in the season, and maybe someone goes up and in on Judge again. I would bet a lot of money the bench is clear between these two teams before the season ends.
Okay.
I would.
I hate it because of the risk of what happened to Mookie Betts.
Yes.
I mean, is the sport better without Mookie Betts for the next 6 to 8 weeks?
It is not.
It is not.
100% not.
So if that had happened to Aaron Judge, it would have been terrible for the sport. If it had happened to Gunnar Henderson, it would have been terrible for the sport.
But the difference is Mookie and Judge weren't intentional.
I know.
Throwing at Gunnar last night was clearly intentional.
So why has that been downplayed so significantly?
Because he handled like a freaking pro. That's why. He walked to first base. He understands, hey, I'm the guy. And if there's a time to hit me, like open base, like they're going to do it, take a shot at me. And really, that's why. He handled it so well. If he would have had more emotion and taken it out to the field, like it would have been a bigger deal. But because of the way he handled it, we kind of like swept it under the rug.
I was terrified. Who was it that was pitching when Judge got it the other night?
Suarez. He started walking out there. Suarez is a pretty big boy too.
I know, but come on, Aaron Judge.
You don't know Suarez's background,
dude. He's like Myles Garrett walking out there, Judge. Except taller.
Yeah, I would take Judge on that one, but actually, I don't know. Does Suarez have like some wrestling background I don't know about?
Or mixed martial arts, perhaps?
You never know.
Never know. All right, just let's simmer down a little bit.
Yeah.
I just hate the throwing inside.
As a fan, you love it. I know all the fans love it.
I don't love it. If my team retaliates, like what? I don't know what it proves, and certainly not north of the waist. You can break a rib.
Yeah, I know. I think he kind of did it the right way. If I'm being honest, I know it was a little higher up, but it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe Gunnar was just ready for it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't love it. Hey, get ready for the season ahead. Quality shades that are built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays, they have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays, it's an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product. It's rated 5 stars by more than 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics. It makes them the perfect choice for every outdoor adventure. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, I've sat on them, I've lost them in the ocean, all sorts of stuff. Don't sweat it. They have the best, most insane protection in the history of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. One other thing. If you don't love the shades, and I haven't met one person who's like, God, these things suck, you can get them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. That's not bad. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head on over to shadyrays.com and use that code today for 50% off 2+ pair of polarized sunglasses. And that offer applies to the custom Jimmy and Jake collab shades, so get yours now. Have you told Jimmy or Jake which one you actually like better?
I don't like either of them that much. I'm talking about the people here. The shades are phenomenal.
A miserable loss. Kelsey Wingard is here this week, and she is so excited. Are you over the the grand slam and then the 3-run homer the other day from Teoscar Hernandez on the check swing miss?
Not.
He went?
He did go.
But then we walked it off the next day. Also, you guys just missed my birthday party downstairs.
Missed your birthday party.
By saying happy birthday to you.
They brought in cakes, 3 cakes.
Well, hold on. Shit, is there cake down there? Is there still
gotta
cake?
go, guys. I got the rest of the show.
Yeah, we got to wrap the show. I'm so sorry about that. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
That's so
You guys
awesome.
could have made it.
I know. We have to pay bills somehow.
It's still your birthday.
Those cakes aren't free.
Go Rocks.
Okay.
Go Rocks.
All right. So yesterday's Rockies win marked the return for the Dodgers of Bobby Miller for the first time in 9 weeks. I didn't realize he was out for 9 weeks. That's incredible. So he did fine. He worked into the 7th, went 6 1/3, gave up 5 runs at Coors Field. That happens. It also marked the same day where Walker Buehler went on the IL. He's got a bad hip. He's still not right. Clayton Kershaw made his first rehab start. He worked 3 innings in the minors. There were some amazing pictures of his minor league teammates just sitting there. They were basically like salivating watching a future Hall of Famer work. I thought that was cool. Before we get to the question, that was neat.
I think you got to do that. You get a chance to watch a guy like that work up close and personal. I will be sitting there asking him so many questions. He'd probably be annoyed with how many questions I would have asked him. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
I get annoyed when you ask questions.
I know.
Do you get annoyed when I ask you 5 questions a day?
Depends on the question.
Good point. My question to you is, how concerned should Dodger fans be with this patchwork rotation moving forward?
Not concerned. I feel like they're always working with a patchwork rotation over the last couple of years, right? I know they haven't got the end goal they've wanted except for 2020, which people are still debating if that was legit or not. I am on the fence that it is, on the side of the fence that it's more legit than any other World Series ever. At the point it was won.
Whoa!
Because it was the most games you had to win in the playoffs.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. People hate when I say that, but whatever. No, I don't think they should be concerned. Look, every team goes through stretches like this where the rotation is banged up. It's the bottom line. But they brought in so much depth that when Kershaw comes back, they'll still have a 5-man rotation that's pretty legit. Oh, there's the cake.
Oh my God! Oh, it's ice cream cake.
You take that. You know I don't put this in my body. You know I don't put this in my body.
Go ahead.
Come on. Okay.
I'll put that one in my body.
Yeah,
too.
you can have it too. So okay, I'm going to keep going. I don't think they should be too concerned. Clearly, you don't want your guys banged up, and the way that Walker Buehler has looked, in his 8 starts, hasn't been great. But I think by year's end, I think they'll be able to tread water because they'll still have the 5-man rotation, like I said. And then when guys get healthy at the end of the year, that's what they're focused on, Chris. They're focused on September and into October. Are you going to be able to finish the show?
I have no idea what you just said.
For people that are only on podcast, the podcast side, Chris is just downing this ice cream cake, and he looks like he's not coming back.
This is amazing. Kelsey, you have to have birthdays more often.
Are you concerned?
It's okay to be not panicked, but curious what Andrew Friedman and his front office brass will do. Let's remember, they went and got Max Scherzer a few years ago.
Yeah.
They also picked up Trey Turner in that trade.
Yeah, that was awesome.
They could do something. A Garrett Crochet. I don't know if Paul DeYoung's the right answer, but they could make separate deals for if they do need a shortstop. And I'm going to talk to Miggy Rowe about this on Saturday, kind of where his head's at. And his body as well at age 35.
Even if they didn't get anybody, you have enough there.
Do we know that?
Well, I think so. Landon Knack, who's like one of their guys that keeps shuttling up and down, like 20 innings, and he's thrown the ball really well. Like maybe he gets a shot. Back into the rotation guy, I think that'd be fine. And
not in the playoffs.
Chris, they're going to have their guys by the playoffs.
But we don't know that.
I think we do know that.
We don't know that because Yamamoto is a rotator cuff. You have no idea which direction that's going to go. Glass now. Love him.
Don't say anything about Glass now.
But he's told us on the Rose rotation that yes, I have to prove because I've never gotten past 120 innings in my career.
I don't put that out in the world. I don't do stuff like that.
But he does. He understands it. So if he understands it, can't you accept it?
So people should be concerned about September and October already?
Yes.
I don't believe that.
When the only thing that matters out of Dave Roberts' mouth is winning it all, then yes, absolutely.
I think Bobby Miller is going to look great by season's end. We'll see what happens with Walker Buehler. I would bet on him throwing some sort of meaningful innings. I don't even know if I'm counting on him necessarily to throw a bunch of bulk innings this year. That would be great if he did. I still think there's enough depth. They went out and acquired enough depth and had in their system enough depth to withstand stuff like this. They're 9 games up right now. They're going to be in the playoffs. So don't worry about September yet.
Do you think they make a trade for a big pitcher?
I don't know. I don't think they have to. Would it shock me? It wouldn't shock me at all.
I think it's more risky not to than to be honest with you. I think at the end of the day, not that fans won't sit there and say, okay, well, you guys gave a good effort with the trade and everything, but I think that if they don't make a move and they don't win the World Series, people are going to be like, we knew it back in June.
Okay, hear me out. Yes, the team is a super team. I think next year, if they don't win the World Series, that's when it'll be crazy because you'll have Shohei as a starter and as DH.
This is remarkable.
So I honestly think this year, being a good team, making it to the playoffs, obviously they want to win the World Series. I get that. It's the Dodgers. They put invested a lot into this team. But next year when Shohei is a starter, and that's when they're full bore, full go.
All right. Guardians and Mariners split the first 2 of a 3-game set. They're underway this afternoon. Seattle took game 1 after 9 extra base hits and a ton of Cleveland walks. Tanner Bybee was just nasty in an 8-0 win on Wednesday. Struck out a career high, I believe it was a dozen batters. Assuming that New York and Baltimore are 1 and 2 in the AL pecking order, who's next?
All right, well, I have a feeling that you're going to talk about the Guardians. And if I was being put me on the spot, I would probably say the Guardians. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to talk about a different team because I think you're going to talk about the Guardians. I hope at least. I think everyone needs to look out for the team in the rearview mirror, the Boston Red Sox.
Wow.
I really, really do. Okay?
Really?
Yes, I do. They got a nice mixture of young talent. They're very athletic. If you look at the season-long statistics, which, are a good snapshot to look at, 5th in OPS. That's pretty good. This is in all of baseball. 5th in OPS. 5th in WHIP from their starters. 6th in WHIP from their relief pitchers. They have enough to go get some people at the deadline. They're getting healthy early in the season. A lot of guys were playing all over the place because there was injuries to the infield, so guys were out of position. I think with everyone kind of, not everyone's even back and healthy yet, but right now they have enough of a core where they're starting to play really, really good ball, Chris. And they were hovering around that 500 mark for quite some time. They're 5 games over right now. I would say just watch out for them. They got the starters. They have enough in the bullpen, and they've been producing offensively, I think, a lot better than people believe. 5th in stolen bases as well.
Well, that's the thing. We talked about it earlier this week, that this is as athletic a Boston team as we've seen in a while. It's not just the stolen bases.
No.
But it is the extra distance that they can cover when they're running the bases. That's almost like hidden yardage in the NFL. Defensively, they can get to a lot of balls.
Yeah.
They're not just mashing. They're doing a lot of good
things. You got Rafaela in center and Abreu in right, and then O'Neill can play whatever he needs to play.
Right.
In the left fields, you can mix and match with that. This team, I'm just saying, look out for them.
It's a good call. I will go with Seattle.
Oh, you're going Seattle?
I am because of the starting pitching.
I'm sorry, Cleveland fans.
Well, but here's the problem with Cleveland. The starting pitching is just not there.
Okay.
It is not there, right? Bieber threw 2 games this year. Gavin Williams hasn't thrown at all. So it's Tanner Bybee and kind of hold your breath. Ben Lively's been a savior for them.
I honestly still can't believe that. Love you, Ben. That's awesome.
Yeah. He's really had one not good start, and other than that, but he's a guy that throws 90 miles an hour, and I don't know if that's going to last the entire season. So they don't have a ton of reinforcements coming behind Gavin Williams, and we'll see how healthy he is. He's been dealing with an elbow issue all year.
So you think, they bring in anybody. The bullpen's the best in baseball.
I know, but the bullpen's also been used a ton.
It's getting taxed.
Yeah, it's getting taxed. So I think if they don't make a move for at the very least an innings eater, and at best a guy that can move right there with Bybee to be at the top of the rotation.
Trade for Aaron Savale? Bring him back?
That's funny. No.
Okay.
That's not who you need.
Okay.
So I would say Seattle. I know offensively they are kind of a hit and miss, and why aren't they better? And can Julio go on like the second half run that he did last year where his OPS was in the 9s and carry the team? Because that rotation can win you a World Series. They don't have to finish as a top 2 seed to get a bye. They can throw. I mean, I don't know how much you've watched Wu. He got knocked around last night.
I watched him.
He did not pitch well last night, but other than that, he's been sensational.
Yep.
And we know about the rest of their rotation. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
They're bottom of the barrel offensively still.
I know. And let's see what Jerry Dipoto does.
And that's interesting.
Winning 54% of your games.
Okay.
That ain't good enough.
I did not think you were going there.
Yep, that's where I'll go. Hey, every day, more dog people, more vets. They're kicking the kibble to the side. They're getting rid of that mushy stuff that you'll put in a dog bowl because we're not into that at all. They are feeding their dogs dog food that is, well, it's food. The
Real
farmer's dog, we made this change with our pooch, Sydney, like 8 to 10 months ago. She has been happier. She has been healthier.
How are her poops?
Her poops are significantly better.
Yum.
Thank you. Her coat, her skin, her breath, it's all better. And it works for dogs who are just getting started in the world or an old grizzled vet like my Sydney out there, who we think is 12 or 13. We rescued her over a
We don't
decade.
know.
We don't know.
She could be 14.
The whole point is that this is good, smart, healthy dog food. And she gets so excited when we open the fridge at any time of day because she's like, yo, is it farmer's dog time? I'm like, no, that's at 8:30 in the morning and 8:30 at night. You know it. Don't try and push me for a third meal. She wants it. I'm going to stay strong, though.
Okay.
We talked about all the benefits it has. It's very easy. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com. You'll get started with a questionnaire that's less than 5 minutes. We're talking about breed of dog, how old it is, how much exercise it gets, and what it normally eats. Then they send you these frozen packets with the dog's name. It says Sydney right on the package. She has some ownership here. We put it in the freezer 24 hours before we have to use a new pack. Thaw it out in the fridge. Voila, you're off and going. So once again, it doesn't matter if your dog is old or young. Just keep them going. Keep them playing ball with you. Help the dog feel healthy. 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/today. Plus, you get free shipping, which is a big deal because it's not this teeny tiny little Tiffany's box. It's a big-ass box. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com/today to get 50% off today. At the end of the day, who doesn't want their dog looking up with those puppy eyes and saying, "Ready? Rivalry. Rivalry."
I was going to try to do it with you, but you just took it over. Oh, my God.
All right, before we get out of here,
Okay.
Speaking of food, at Texas, they've got this new dog or whatever, and somebody was having a hot dog and taking a social media clip, and it fell right out and fell on a dude. If that had been the dude who took the hot dog on the shoulder and had the shirt all torn to shit, what would your reaction have been?
Well, number one, hilarious video. I mean, the dog looks good, but it's clearly too heavy for that box. I would have asked for a few dogs and a few beers, no doubt.
Yeah, I would.
There's nothing you can do. I mean,
No.
look, you got hit with a hot dog, make the best of it. Like, ask for a few beers, a few hot dogs of your own, take a social media pic, boom, we're all good.
Yeah, I think
Because
if
it
you
didn't
could
get him
laugh-
too bad.
No, but enough to be like, God, really? Because
It's a
at
good
the-
story.
It is, but at the end of the day, if somebody's carrying beers or hot dogs or whatever it is to their seats and they slip and something happens, but if you're making a social media clip for the sole purpose of spinning it and showing off a hot dog and then it's in air,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
How's the box manufacturer feeling right now? Not good, right?
That's more operator error. I got to be
You
honest
think
with
so?
you. I think so because there wasn't enough finger through the hole holding it.
Oh, I thought it was just too heavy.
I don't know. Look,
Okay. It's a big dog.
So, yeah, I hope that the person who dropped the dog, A, didn't set this up, B, that if it wasn't a mistake, just say, hey, listen, my bad. What can I get you?
What if that was on purpose, great marketing. I'm sorry. Also, they say one hot dog takes 15 minutes off your life. Dan has lost several years of his life, how he eats hot dogs. What do you think one of those is? Probably an hour, I would say.
I ate a hot dog this week.
15 minutes gone.
Listen, I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. That's
Okay.
it. We are back with you again tomorrow. Don't forget to get your factor question of the weekend by tonight so we can use the best one on tomorrow's show. If you want to join us live, we're going to try to go right around 12:45 Eastern.
Yep.
It all depends on our game schedule. You're going to love Floorball 3. We're off to a jammin' start already. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. I'm thinking of having a second dessert. I'm thinking about it. The little crumble at the end is what gets me. I have to, right?
Yeah.
Rourke?
Cake crunchies?
Oh, the cake crunchies.
Oh, my goodness.
I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday on Baseball Today, presented to you by Factor. I think I'm going.